Yes, thank you, Amoda. So I'm right back. And I was talking, therefore, about this elite that I pointed out in my last show. I like us to, try to go from the example of Samuel Contam Elliott, who has realized that if he can't descend into the arena himself to fight, he needs at least to encourage those who have decided to take the bull by the horns to go out there and fight. Those who continue to be headstrong, something is awaiting them. Take a look at this. You see, you must have seen this headline, but I'm bringing it because I want us together to put it in context. Northwest governor accuses funds of fortifying Amber fighters. Listen, my people. Anytime, this is the African proverb that says it. Anytime you carry ant-infested firewood into your house, trust me, lizards will come visit it. Sounds familiar? I say anytime you carry ant-infested firewood into your house, expect the visit of lizards. That is what it is. So you see here, this is a governor, an appointed official from La République du Cameroon, having the guts to pack his finger into the eyes of our funds. Oh, how La République du Cameroon has stumbled on our culture. These funds, we used to see them as demigods, people with powers from above, with supernatural powers, people that at the mention of the name you revere them. Oh yes, they were almost worshipped, almost. But trust me, we have to worship humans. But I'm saying our phones were almost worshipped. But like people in Cameroon has helped to water down the authority of our phones to a level never before imagined. To the point divisional officers, a divisional officer, a DO, a civil servant at that low rung can have the guts now to tell our phones, if you play, I will fire and replace you. Oh yes. And that's not even according to our tradition. You and I saw these phones. We saw them assembled, conducted by Von Bambi of Adam in Menchum County, specifically in Wum local government area, and called on so-called elite and the government to give them money to perform traditional rites against their own children, to weaken them so that La République du Cameroon will prevail against them. So that the talks of La République du Cameroon will prevail against them. They have done things with them in the background. Some have even buried portions in places, buried animals alive. Some even claim that they even buried plus humans alive to help La République du Cameroon to prevail against our brave hearts. When you find Mr. Lele Lafrique Adolphe de Benjofo crying out today and accusing these same funds who are eating and dining with him, who have all taken sides with Mr. Paul Biya's CPD regime against their own people, with the exception of a tiny few. When you see the colonial governor accusing them, it is because they gave the impression to this colonial governor, that they could fortify the army of La République du Cameroon to overcome their own children. What they fail to understand is that our gods don't fight a war of blame. No! When you involve the spirits in a war of blame, you lose it. Look at how they tinified the forms. La République has tinified the forms to the point where they gather them like school children, put them in a room and lecture them on what they need to do to help a colonial administration to maintain its colonial dominance on their people. This is what you get when you settle for less than you deserve. This is what you get. At the end of the day, some of the funds even had to transform themselves into errand boys, going out of their way to go and try to see how to set up their own subjects. And in the process, some disappeared. No one knows where they are today, and no word from the administration. You see, the speed with which we went out to negotiate to get Mahmoudi released. It's not the same frenzy that we have seen with respect to the situation of the Fon of Bambala, who until today nobody can tell where he is. The Fon of Bambala, who went out to do like the Cameroon's bidding, who went out to call close to himself and set up his own son, Mbashi Clement, aka Nopiti. And how did it end? Listen, and today, that same administration is shamelessly blaming the same funds who are there dining with them. Listen, this is just a purview. This is a purview of what is going to happen to those so-called elite who are in Yaoundé deceiving Mr. Paul Biya that they are in control. I said so before, and this is a purview, because when the time will come, you will see newspaper headlines more than this one accusing all those so-called elite of being part of the reason La République du Cameroon lost Amazonia. Because, my people, the wheel is turning, and this situation is irreversible. Amazonia will be free, and there is nothing anybody can do about it. There's nothing like Republic of Cameroon can do about it, not even France. You recall, Honorable Wiba told them this in their own House of Assembly, that when the people of the Southern Cameroons, he said West Cameroon, but I insist on Southern Cameroons, of Amazonia will rise, you will bring the entire army of France and add them to your own, and you will not be able to overcome. When the spirit possesses you, you say things that even you yourself can sit tomorrow and ask yourself, did I really say this? And that's exactly what happened. You also heard when our own Pastor San Wilfred, on January 6, 2017, said by Monday, that's when we at the consortium called the first ever ghost town, nationwide ghost town. When I say nation, I mean Southern Cameroons. And he said by Monday, we will know who controls our land. And what happened on that Monday? Unimaginable. The entire Southern Cameroons was shut down from Biya through Victoria, Kumba, Manfe to Widikum, Batibo, Mbengui, Bamenda, Wum, Kumbo, every single village. Yes, including places as remote as Njungo, even places as totally enclaved as Elumba, even places totally enclaved to as Fonfuka in Boom. All of them, even in Furawa, every place was shut down on January 9, 2017. And somebody said that was really prophetic. What was he counting on? We had no army. Amber boys were nowhere in sight at the time. It didn't happen yet. So we had nothing to enforce this but the truth. The only thing that we had to enforce this ghost town call was the truth. The truth, which is self-evident, that the people of the Southern Cameroons were a people who are independent and which country had been stolen, and that country needs to be vomited out by La République du Cameroon. We need to restore our land. We need to get back our stolen country. This was the truth that kept people in their houses on January 9, 2017. That truth. Yeah. And that same spirit therefore moved ahead to get into Honorable Wiba, who made those prophetic declarations. We have seen that the Republic of Cameroon has got soldiers from Chad. They have brought from Equatorial Guinea. They have brought from all over the place. They have brought contributions from everywhere. Nothing. Against untrained self-defense volunteers. Nothing. We are riding high. They'll see at some point and say, oh, you see, it's finished. Normalcy has returned. It's just a matter of time. But before long, things get worse. This is because I need my people of Amazonia to know this. In 2008, when Mr. Barack Obama won elections to be president of the United States of America, and after his inaugural in 2009, the country was facing a huge crunch, economic crunch. The housing crisis was terrible. It was serious depression. It needed to be fixed, right? Some could have written out America. But he said it will get worse before it gets better. And this is very important for us to note. In this liberation movement, there are times when things will get bad. It may even get worse before it finally gets better. Because the best is yet to come. Because there is no way we will ever surrender to the Republic of Cameroon. Because there is no way we will ever surrender our future, our destiny, to be in bondage forever under a bad system like the Republic of Cameroon. My dear people of Amazonia, believe in this liberation movement. And like I say, don't join those who are destined for destruction. Those so-called misguided elite. You see what a mere appointed official, Lady Nafik Deben Chofu, is saying. That's somebody who is retired at least 5 years ago. But Mr. Biya will not put him on retirement. Because the feeling that he knows how to manipulate among the people, he knows how to enforce a killing machine, he knows how to enforce a genocidal agenda. That's why he's still there. But that's him not poking his finger in the eyes of the funds. These funds can't even ask them, what has the colonial administration done since the removal, since the arrest of the fund of Bambala? Where is he? What has the administration done? Yet they are choking them. Go and carry out incantations against your own people. Recall, in our last broadcast, a citizen of the Republic of Cameroon said, and I repeat it here, that the elite, the Anglophone elite, let me say what he said, the Anglophone elite can never win a war against their people. Even the France cannot win a war against those who enthrone them to govern them, to rule over them, following set up traditional principles. They can't. Mr. Lele Lafrique, Adolphe de Benchofo, they can't. They're from Bambi and his band of clowns that they can't. They failed. A good lot of them, Mr. Lele Lafrique, can't even go back to their palaces. And where do you think they can stand to perform whether fortification rites or? And let me say this, lest you forget. When you get this kind of statement from Mr. Adolphe Lele Lafrique de Benchofo, the colonial governor, who at the same time goes and says, oh, life is returning to normal, just a matter of time, he should clearly educate you to the effect that La République du Cameroon is facing far tougher times in our land than we are seeing. Far tougher times than they are ready to admit. Far difficult moments than they can resist much longer. That's why they are crying. That's why they are crying. Their noses are bleeding. Their nostrils are bleeding daily. They have reached their wits' end to outdo the determination of our young people. Those same young people in Content Ella says he is praising them for their tenacity. Praising them because they are standing up for what they believe in. Our brothers and sisters are fighting for the truth, while La République du Cameroon is fighting to enforce a lie. Sometimes we've said lies might almost be completing its journey around the world while truth is still lacing its shoes. But at the end of the day, truth will overcome lies. Truth will overcome that falsehood. That's why I want each and every one of us to take this off your mind. What I'm about to say now. Then you hear sometimes some people say, oh, because I was on a debate on African media, and that was the subject matter for discussion. Oh, the next president of Cameroon should be an Anglophone. If the next president is an Anglophone, of course, it will change a good lot of things. As if the next president is a citizen from the Southern Cameroons, the former UN Trust Territory of British Southern Cameroons, then it could resolve the Southern Cameroons question, the Ambazonian question, and I laughed. My people, don't ever fall to that. What is happening in La République du Cameroon is not just, it's a system. It's not a matter of persons. It's a system. A system that was put in place since 1961. And it started manifesting since April 21, 1961. Put in place to make sure that we will be treated as second-class citizens. You have to argue. Look at, they create a position of prime minister. And they say the prime minister is head of government. Who is prime minister? Is it not Joseph John Bute? What power does he have? But go on paper and see the expanse of the powers of the prime minister's office. Because it's not just prime minister, head of government. Look at the expanse. There's enormous power in that office. But that power, too often, is rather exercised by the Secretary General, who is under the Prime Minister, because they are generally Francophones and Betty. They are generally citizens of La République du Cameroon and Betty, for that matter. But take away John Bute from that office, replace him with a Louis-Paul Mortaze as Prime Minister, you will know just how much power the Prime Minister's office has. So it's a system. Don't allow yourself to be carried away by some stupid wishful thinking. The only way we really get free to determine our own development priority, to transform our land within a few years, like we have seen Ethiopia being transformed, like we saw Dubai transformed, like we have seen Rwanda being transformed, like we have seen other countries around us being transformed, we have seen Ghana being transformed. The only way we do that is absolute freedom. Absolute independence. No two things. I've said here 1,001 times that the Republic of Cameroon is not a country that ever keeps to its word, that ever respects anything. No. And I'll be demonstrating to you right ahead. When I open the file with chat, I'll be demonstrating to you. Nowhere has the Republic of Cameroon ever kept to its word.